On this week's show, it's a Fast and the Furious movie, but not as you know it because the cars go sideways. I'm Nev Knowles.
I'm Laura Medeiros.
I'm Roddy Gotham.
And I'm Megan Swain.
And this is Bad with Numbers.
Literally a movie on Netflix called Fastest Car.
What's it about?
The drivers of exotic supercars put their street cred on the line against deceptively fast sleeper cars built and modified by true gearheads. Oh, it's a reality show. Never mind.
Oh. So I was reading up on that TV show, The Fast and Furious. Did you know that Vin Diesel is an executive producer on it?
I didn't, but that doesn't surprise me because he's very much all over this franchise, right? This is his fucking baby.
Really? He has creative control?
So there's the story that him and The Rock do not get along.
Oh.
And the reason that Hobbs and Shaw exists is because the producers did not want to lose Dwayne Johnson from the franchise, but also the situation between him and Vin Diesel became untenable, so they just gave him their own spin-off movie in the universe. I don't think it's any secret that there's no love lost between those guys.
I just feel like I'm on The Rock's side no matter what happens now. It's just like, man, what is Vin Diesel doing? I don't know.
Yeah, what is Vin Diesel doing? Outside of these movies, what was the last thing? Oh, and wait,
Groot.
No, he's Groot. Of course, he's Groot. I forgot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He gets paid millions of dollars to utter the same three fucking words over and over again.
True goals.
Wait, so did they hire him more for his... He doesn't do the mocap, does he?
No, it's James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, does the mocap for Groot, so no.
Like Groot and the other guy, smaller one.
Rocket?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wait, you mean Bradley Cooper doesn't do the mocap for Rocket?
I really want it to be a real mocap on like a raccoon.
Yeah, that's so much better if they just got an actual fucking raccoon.
With their little like waddles that raccoons do.
Yeah, they're like calling him to set. They can't find him. It's because he's in like a trash can somewhere.
Right.
I'm legitimately still processing that they're paying Vin Diesel to say, I am Groot. Like, I'm trying to think of like the dialogue in that film. I mean, that's a lot of money for just like what?
Do you think that it's just because of the name? Do you think that his name got him that job just to say I am Groot so that they can pitch it up a bunch and think it was funny?
Vin Diesel doesn't have like the biggest vocal range, right? I mean, regardless of what his fucking pop career would try and tell you, because you guys have all heard that song he put out, right?
What?
You didn't hear it? What have you been doing all lockdown?
I don't want to hear it, but I'd be glad to add it to my list of action heroes that have tried to have music careers. Except for Jackie Chan, who has an awesome music career.
Wait, what?
Jackie Chan.
I didn't know that.
If you look on YouTube, you can find him singing I'll Make a Man Out of You in both Mandarin and Cantonese.
Wow.
And he fucking nails it in both languages. Yeah, he's a really good singer.
That's amazing.
Just saying his name and like stared off in the distance and like smiled just thinking about him.
Right.
I know, he just kind of gives that vibe. Like, okay, there's a whole bunch, like with Jackie Chan, there's a whole bunch of movies that would go just to see him. But a part of me is like, if they took Vin Diesel out of the Fast and the Furious, again, I guess I'm not the biggest, like, I don't follow this franchise that much, but a part of me would be all right with that.
Yeah, that's because that's what Tokyo Drift is. Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast this week.
Yes, that's right. This is Bad with Numbers, a movie podcast where we talk about sequels. Usually terrible. This week, I'm not so sure because
so good.
This movie kind of fucking rules. We're talking about the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift from the year 2006, directed by Justin Lin, whose previous film was
Better Luck Tomorrow,
which is a fine little movie, I seem to remember.
He's a really good director.
I mean, he's done a lot of these Fast and Furious movies, and they have made an absolute ton of money, but not this one. I guess the logic for us doing this as an episode is this movie basically nearly killed this franchise. It underperformed massively at the box office. The fans all hated it. Critics were not keen on it either. And in recent years, it's kind of had a reappraisal as it's kind of fit more into the continuity of the series, but
the fans hated this more than the second one.
Yeah, I don't know how, because the second one was just not okay.
Yeah, that second one is a legit bad movie. I don't think I've actually seen it all the way through. I think I bailed on it.
It's a little bit ludicrous in my opinion.
Hey!
Hey.
That's the movie where he gets... So that's the first ludicrous movie. Okay. I struggle with the continuity of this series because it's just so janky and all over the place.
Yeah, so I recently went on a binge. So Fast and Furious, 1 is with Vin Diesel and Paul Walker.
And we should say the original Fast and Furious is basically just a fucking remake of Point Break. Like,
yeah,
a nuts and bolts remake of the movie Point Break with car racing instead of surfing and skydiving.
Yeah, and then the second one introduces Paul Walker's best friend in the series. And then, yeah, that's the first one that had Ludacris going.
Can live without him in all of these fucking movies. Sorry, Ludacris Bridges, but...
And then from there, it was Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which is a prequel, technically?
It was? Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think this is a sequel to a lot of these later movies.
No, you're right. So then I guess what? 4 and 5 and 6 are prequels.
That's really confusing.
The continuity of this series is somewhat skew-iffy. We're probably going to need to get a fucking whiteboard up in here and try and track this shit.
Yeah.
But let's not let it distract us from the fucking majesty of Tokyo Drift.
Okay, so I couldn't remember the main character's name until I think, like...
Sean?
Yeah, Sean. I kept thinking it was Jack for some reason.
He kind of looks like a Jack.
Right? But yeah, no, I really hated him, and I'm glad they just kind of left him in Tokyo.
Hard disagree, but okay.
Really?
No.
I like this kid a lot.
Really? Wait, do you like him as an actor or do you like the character?
Kind of both.
Yeah, no, it was hard. Like watching this from the beginning of the film when he like almost kills a person in a driving accident and he just shows no remorse. I was like, yeah, I don't really feel for this guy.
He completely destroys his own car, which feels a little bit like, and he just, like, he has this shit-eating grin at the end, like, yeah, I won the race. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have a car anymore.
I think the idea is that he would just fix up his own car because it was a beater. It didn't matter. And then he got all mad when the cop was just like, oh, I crushed your car. He was like, you what? And it's, no, you crushed your car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. I was like, he kind of already did most of the job himself.
Right? So why are you so mad? I don't know.
Okay, a little backstory on Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So this movie came out 3 years after Too Fast, Too Furious, which was a huge box office hit.
Really?
Yeah, I know. That's a dumb title, right? Basically, they were looking to Halloween free this franchise in that they wanted to create a series of stories that weren't necessarily chronologically connected and didn't have like a huge continuity amongst each other. They just basically wanted to turn it into a series of car racing movies. So Paul Walker was deemed to be too old for this movie when they were casting it. I think Channing Tatum auditioned for the role as well.
Oh!
Can you imagine this movie with C-Tates in the lead?
Before Step Up or after Step Up? Which Channing Tatum?
I think it's around the same time he was in Step Up. I think they're both 2006, I think.
Okay. Because there's like She's the Man Channing Tatum, there's Step Up Channing Tatum, and there's Magic Mike Channing Tatum.
You know what? All Channing's Tatums. All of them. No, they're fine.
So yeah, it backfired spectacularly because everybody was just like, hey, where's Paul Walker? Hey, where's Vin Diesel? That's who we turned out for these movies for. I mean, I know Vin Diesel's not in the second movie, but because he was too busy making Chronicles of Riddick.
Wild to think that movie exists. I always forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to jump right to the end of this movie straight away because I was going to bring this up later on, but it's kind of already come into the conversation.
Yeah.
So Vin Diesel has
matter.
like a 30-second cameo at the end of this film, and we'll get into the why and whereabouts of that later on. But he was actually added into this film after it tested with audiences, and they hated the ending, and they hated the fact that there was absolutely no continuity with the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. So they quickly rushed in Vin Diesel to shoot this cameo at the end. Do you know what he got paid to do this cameo at the end of this movie?
Hopefully
no.
not more than the lead.
Anybody want to throw out a guess what he got paid?
100 million.
He wishes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so he didn't get paid a monetary sum to do this. What he got was Universal relinquished the rights to the Riddick franchise franchise and gave them back to Vin Diesel in exchange for him appearing at the end of this movie, he basically got paid in Riddicks to appear in this film.
Like, I kind of commend that. He wanted to like have control of a property that he, I guess, was passionate about. That's kind of commendable. He was passionate about it, not like an audience.
He was passionate about it. Audiences less so, because he made that Riddick sequel in 2013 was it that came out, and nobody cared.
It's not bad.
I'm glad at least one person cared, and that is Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the deal that he cut there, actually.
It's a pretty impressive deal to get a studio to relinquish an entire franchise just for you to do 30 seconds at the end of their fucking silly car movie.
And yeah, he got a movie made that he wanted to do.
I really like the idea that Dominic Toretto shipped out his car to Tokyo. So if you think about the continuity with the rest of the series, it's to find Han and to find what happened. So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna bring my entire car with me for some reason.
Just get a Hertz when you get to the fucking airport, man. You don't need to take your car on a fucking boat.
That's the same movie where they're dropping the cars out of the airplanes. So maybe he just left his car on that airplane.
Could be.
He has his own airplane, maybe.
It's totally possible.
Does his character even know how to drift?
No.
Can he even drift, bro? What the hell would be... He just seemed so out of place in that cameo. I'm like, he looks like a zillion years old compared to everybody else that is standing in that crowd.
Vin Diesel turns up at the end of this movie to ask them to turn their music down.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, they don't know who the fuck he is. They're not going to be in awe of him. They're not going to be like, hey, that's a famous American dude who can't drift. Why do we care about this guy again?
Hey, it's the guy from Boiler Room. No.
Well, yeah. Well, like Ned said, it was added just purely for audiences. It had nothing to do with the story. It was just like an OF, we screwed up. We hurt the fan base, and that's what brings people into these movies. Vin Diesel.
Honestly, yeah, continuity and so I guess that brings us back to what is a good sequel, because a lot of people will argue that you need to entertain the people who are coming back and also keep the interest of people who haven't seen the first couple. So I guess that's the line, is you just fly some guy in for no good reason and give him a movie franchise.
Yeah, it's the same thing with a lot of major franchises like Star Trek and Star Wars and where you have to kind of walk this thin line between bringing in a new audience and pleasing the one that you already have in a way that doesn't come off as hacky.
So I guess the question is, Megan and Roddy, I know, Laura, I already know your answer to this, that you are very familiar with this franchise.
Hella.
Me too. I've seen all of these movies. They're dumb as fuck, but I've got to admit, I get a kick out of these films. Megan, Roddy, are you guys familiar with this franchise?
Nope, not really.
Yeah, I mean, I just the reason why I knew it is because my cousins were very, you can tell I know nothing about cars. I'm they were very into cars when I was younger. I feel if you love really love talking about cars, this is your movie. And for me, I know nothing about it.
It's supposed to be in your DNA, Roddy.
Yeah, no, this is why. I'm not the audience for this film by far.
You mean you weren't drooling over the 350Z that he's driving and stuff?
I don't even know what that means. What is that?
We're gonna have fun on this one.
There is a car. It was green. It looked so fast. Also, can we talk about Bow Wow's car? Universally.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Oh, yes.
No. Let's start at the start, right? But yeah, we're gonna fucking talk about that fucking monstrosity that kid is driving. So this movie starts off with a fucking absolute banger of a tune. The soundtrack to this film is so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Apart from one song by one particular artist that we'll get to in a minute, but this movie starts with 6 Days by DJ Shadow and Mos Def, and straight out of the gate, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a good time. But it also opens with a montage of our protagonist Sean, played by Lucas Black. Lucas Black was a child actor. He was in a TV show called American Gothic, which was actually a fucking great. It ran for 2 seasons, and it was set in a southern town where Gary Cole plays a sheriff in this town, but it's also implied that he might be the devil, and kind of Lucas Black played the kid that is possibly the son of the devil. Fucking awesome show if you haven't seen it. Yeah, so Lucas Black, he's a high school student. I mean, if you say so movie.
Yeah, I guess he was 25. He looks older than 25. He is a very aged, not shaming or anything, but he looked older than 25.
Listen, I'm 25. I could definitely play in like high school, you know, like I look exactly the same.
Oh, absolutely.
But like I could definitely, there are people my age that I'm just like, what happened? Are you okay?
They just been out in the sun a lot. They're outside. It's that stress.
That's my problem. That makes a lot of sense.
We were watching it. We were like, that guy has crow's feet. What is happening right now?
It's not like a Stockard Channing in Grease kind of deal where she's like
no.
36 playing a 17-year-old, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't think you're supposed to be here, friend.
Well, that's probably why they moved out from the high school setting like that. Because it wouldn't. Well, not even. They just moved to the high school.
He goes to high school in Japan where they look even younger.
Okay, so then continue on because I have a moment, like something to say about his trip to his high school, like to Japan.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say like I remember seeing this in theaters and thinking like, is this like a joke? This whole metal detectors in a school thing?
No.
Did you guys have metal detectors in schools?
No, we don't.
Not in my school.
No, I think it's an American thing.
But it is a thing, right? It's a thing in America.
In the
I guess.
States, yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's such a depressing fucking fact.
Well, no, I think when I saw that, I was like, oh, we're in America. And I was like, because I don't think it's not as common in other countries. It's just kind of the state of America.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes, right?
There are probably some schools in Toronto that have them. I don't know. I can't speak to modern like Toronto schools whether they have metal detectors, but
Yeah, it was definitely not a thing when I was at school. But then I guess, you know.
It seems like as of 2014, Toronto schools reject the Cleveland solution of metal detectors, says the Star.
Okay.
Also, I have cap locks on because I'm so excited about Fast and Furious, so all of my Google searches are just in all capitals.
You're just shouting into Google about Tokyo Drift.
Toronto schools with metal detectors. Fast and Furious 2 cast. my Google search is going to be very aggressive when I go back.
You know who I oddly bought as maybe being a high school? That kid from Home Improvement. And I don't know why.
oh yeah.
This Lucas Black kid, Sean, he has a rival at his high school, and that rival is played by Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement. He has such a square head.
Didn't he get arrested for drunk driving or something like that?
Quick, let's fact check that. Somebody hammer a keyboard. Let's just fucking say he did.
Let me put this in all caps. Hold on.
I mean, it's not like the cast of Home Improvement have got any kind of, you know, dirt on them, apart from the fact that...
Yes, Zachary Ty Bryan was arrested and was facing assault charges literally a month ago.
Oh.
Well, fuck that guy then.
Good timing on our part, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, bad timing on his, so...
No, wait, hold on. Don't forget, we're recording this in advance. You mean 2 months ago, right?
Oh, yeah, 2 months ago.
No, now I'm in like a whole thing where I just want to find out what happened to Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I mean, we could talk about what happened to Tim Allen.
No, I'm okay. I don't really...
He's been in the news lately, tweeting about fucking Karl Marx spelt incorrectly, like the fucking coke dealing piece of shit that fucking guy is.
Yeah.
I know. It kind of spoiled Toy Story, because now I look at Buzz, and I'm like, oh.
Don't forget, Buzz Lightyear got busted for fucking smuggling coke.
I watched a movie with him in it the other day.
Who, Tim Allen or Buzz Lightyear? Because if it was Buzz Lightyear, then...
You've got a 1 in 4 chance.
No, it was, I watched Christmas with the Cranks. I just put on, I wanted to put on a Christmas movie while I was doing shit, so.
Is that the one with him and Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes.
Or am I thinking of a different... Oh, okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis, well, I mean, there is a scene where she goes to a tanning salon and she's basically poured herself into a teeny little top.
I've been in very close proximity to Jamie Lee Curtis at the Halloween premiere a couple of years ago. She's still stunning.
She is.
She's my favorite meme.
She's your favorite meme?
Is it a meme? What's that picture where she's just like mad and drinking water?
I have no idea what you're
You don't know? It's...
I've not seen this.
She's just really mad and she's drinking water and she takes a sip. And I feel like it's a very relatable experience.
I feel like this episode's going to have a lot of Googling in it.
Angry lady drinking water meme was the auto. Yeah, you're right. It is Jamie Lee Curtis, and she is angry and drinking water.
Yeah, it's a classic.
And that's probably going to be her legacy.
No, it's not.
Somebody's like, when someone confuses Michael Myers with Jason Voorhees.
I would watch Jamie Lee Curtis in Fast and the Furious. She seems like she'd fit in.
I mean, sure, they get fucking Helen Mirren in this franchise later on.
No way! I would watch that, too.
Yeah, Helen Mirren plays like Jason Statham's mother in this franchise.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's true. That was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, she's in one of the other movies as well, I'm sure. Or she's going to be in one of the other ones.
I think what makes this movie kind of like, you continue to watch it, is like it kind of doesn't take itself seriously anymore. Like it just kind of does whatever it wants now.
Anymore?
I mean, the first one it did, I guess.
The first one, like I remember watching because of my cousin, and he put the DVD in, and they're all like, "Oh look, it's Jordana Brewster," and that's why they probably wanted to watch it more. But then I was kind of bored with it, and I was just like, okay, because like it was just a lot of talking and then like 2 chase scenes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that first movie. I never really fucking liked it. I was very excited to see it because the trailer was fucking rad, but I felt very deflated after I saw that movie, and I've not really bothered to going back to it. But Tokyo Drift, on the other hand, I have watched multiple times this week alone.
Well, I'm trying to think why, but like I think what it is like it's a very structured movie, and I don't know why.
I mean, this movie is basically just The Karate Kid. If you took all of the beats of The Karate Kid and slapped them on this movie, that's what this fucking movie is.
Absolutely.
Because of that, though, it's like there's that whole scene. I'm jumping ahead, but like his second race in Japan, I was like, I feel no tension at all in this. Like, I just know he's gonna lose.
Well, that's the point, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, fine. Like, maybe he could have been more of a dick, so that way you're happy. Like, I was happy to see him lose so much.
So wait, are you saying you wanted this character to be like a Mary Sue and just be like great at drifting straight out of the gate?
No, not that. But like a part of me was like, I just didn't feel bad for him that he lost. I was like happy. I guess it's just more a sign of myself.
So anyway, he has this rival with Zachary Ty Bryan. They have some kind of previous beef that is not really explained to us, and we don't really care about it. But what it basically sets up is this crazy race that the two of them have through a construction site.
No, they full on damaged somebody's home.
He talked to the guy's girlfriend, and the guy decided to race him with the girlfriend in the car, which seemed ill-advised.
She offers herself up as the prize, which I was kind of...
She knows her value, so good for her. She knows her place.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. The other way I was looking at it is like, she's literally just prostituting herself to whoever is the fastest car driver. They wreck this construction site, and then they wreck their respective vehicles as well. And just a note on this movie, and probably the reason why I dig this movie so much, is the editing of this film is on point.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, a lot of the time in these kind of movies, the understanding of space on the screen is really hard to follow. The editing of this film makes these car chases look shit hot.
Yep.
But also the frustration of him realizing that he has to crash through a entire house and him just saying, oh well,
I know.
and then doing it.
Brian had criticisms about that, because Brian was like, crashing through a wall? Sure. Crashing through stairs? No. He would have totaled his car. Like,
I don't know. I think I could crash a car through the staircase in my house. I'm willing to try as well.
Didn't you build it?
I certainly rebuilt part of the staircase in my house, and knowing my construction abilities, yeah, you could probably crash a Matchbox car through the fucking stairs in my house. But yeah, so they wreck their fucking cars, and I mean they wreck their fucking cars. They like the Viper, the Dodge Viper that Zachary Ty Bryan is driving, goes straight into a concrete tube and folds down the middle.
yeah.
And Sean's car flips. I think I counted 5 times. I may be wrong. He flips it, and then we cut to them sat in a police station waiting room, and they have the bare minimum of cuts and bruises on their faces. And I was just thinking, I bet Lady Diana's up in heaven watching this going, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. She's in hell.
Oh my.
There is some animosity there.
Yeah, I like the shot of him despite the fact that I hate the fact that he has a shitty grin on his face in the waiting room. It is a funny shot where his face is all bloody and he's like, got this look like, ah.
His teeth look like fucking Ed Norton in Fight Club when he beats the shit out of himself. It's pretty funny.
The guy looks like this is the only form of sex that he knows is destroying a car in a street race. He's gotten his jollies off.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, policeman says, no, you are fucked. Your car is totaled. We've crushed it. You're on your last warning for this shit. So basically, Sean gets shipped off to go and live with his dad.
You're skipping the bit where his mom talks to the cop while she's wearing
that's right. Yeah, the mom comes in and flirts with the cop.
It's like, I'm like, oh my god, how many times has she done this?
Probably a lot.
I'm concerned. Yeah.
It's a mother's love, right?
Yeah.
So he gets shipped off to Japan to go and live with his dad in Tokyo.
Did you guys notice that he brought a guitar with him and then proceeded to never play said guitar?
Wait, it's on the plane with him?
Yeah, he comes off the plane and he has the friggin' guitar like strapped to his back.
And yet, at no point in the movie is he given the chance to demonstrate any kind of musical experience.
Either that or it's just a guitar case with a bunch of auto tools in it.
Maybe, yeah. It's just got like steering wheels and shit in it.
What's the definition of like a Mary Sue? Because like a part of me is like with the Sean character, I felt like he was just supposed to be a person that an audience is supposed to place themselves in. Like that's why he was kind of blank throughout this whole thing. Because like the guitar, it'd be cool to see him play it, but like it's just so you know he plays guitar.
I don't know. I don't need a white guy playing a guitar in my Fast and Furious movie. We're good, thanks.
We already have a lot of,
Yeah.
So he moves in with his dad. Does anybody else think his dad might have been in the military? The only reason I ask is because every single item of clothing this guy owns says Navy on it.
Well, yeah, this movie's not subtle.
He's like, oh, you're sleeping in here, and it's basically a closet. Like his dad's shirts are literally hanging in there.
Yeah, and they set his dad up like he's some kind of flake at the start because this girl comes like scurrying out of his house when Sean turns up. But they never really do anything with the dad character after that, apart from for him to like throw in a plot beat near the end of the movie. But
well, he drinks a lot. They make it pretty clear he's kind of a lush.
Yeah, but he's like, we never really explore him as a character, which kind of feels like a missed opportunity maybe to give a bit of weight to this thing, but never mind.
He's a neglectful, hard-ass dad who's perhaps an alcoholic and buys his sex, probably.
Seems probable, honestly.
Like a part of me is like, if you escaped going to juvie and what's a full word? Juvenile detention center?
Juvenile hall.
But he was able to, like, their parents were able to work around and basically get him a trip to live in Japan. And like, a part of me is like, out of punishments, that's not that bad.
That's a weird punishment. Go live in Japan.
I feel like just being relocated anytime is a punishment. I went to like 4 different high schools as a child that was moved around a lot, and it always felt like a fucking punishment every time I started at a new school.
Maybe that was supposed to be his backstory. He's moved around a lot, and that's why he has no friends.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that might be the case. I'm pretty sure the mother alludes to that they've done this quite a few times. So
yeah, because when his parents were still married, they probably, he was basically a military brat, I guess.
Oh wait, I need to backpedal a second because just going back to the race on the building site, I know I said this movie has a great soundtrack, and the one exception is during this scene when they are playing fucking Kid Rock.
Yeah.
With that dumb as fuck ba with a ba baby speak bullshit song that he does. Just, casual fuck that guy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I digress. We're in Japan now.
I will admit though, as soon as he gets to Tokyo, there's like a breath of like fresh air in the movie. Like, oh, this is nice. It's just, I don't know. It brightens it up, adds energy.
That was probably the thinking of the producers, right? They were like, hold on a minute. They have cars in other countries?
I'm sure they wanted to do a series of movies that was kind of like characters exploring different types of street racing.
Wait, what's street racing's origin? Like, how did it come about? No, we don't need...
Teenagers with cars.
Oh, yeah.
And streets.
Wait, George Lucas made a film about this? No. What's that one? American Graffiti.
American Graffiti it's not really a street racing movie, but it certainly is that like a very kind of car culture film.
Okay, so are you guys ready?
Oh, I'm down for this lesson.
In the United States, modern street racing traces its route back to Woodward Avenue in Michigan in the 1960s when the 3 main Detroit-based American car companies were producing high-power performance cars.
Oh.
So in the 1960s, so why the fuck are they doing streetcar race? Oh, I guess they're not really racing in streets in Greece. They're racing in the fucking LA River. It's different. Forget it.
Is this movie like the movie Cars then? Like Fast and Furious sells cars, like how the movie Cars sells cars?
I know people that have bought cars based on them being used in these movies, so yeah.
What was the cars in Tokyo? I actually didn't look at the brands. It's just like...
I mean, it's mostly Mitsubishi and Nissan are like the 2 main cars that feature in this film. Lil Bow Wow, sorry, not Little Bow Wow. He's credited as being as Bow Wow. I guess he's not Lil Bow Wow anymore. He's just regular Bow Wow.
Wait, this is the same guy? I wasn't even paying attention. Okay.
Yeah, he's just regular Bow Wow, which is also what the R in R. Kelly stands for, regular Kelly. Did you know that?
Is it? It's not regular Kelly, is it?
No, it's rapist.
I thought so. If you weren't gonna go there, I was. So
Is he alive? I can't remember.
R. Kelly?
he's locked up, is he not?
I hope so.
He's due to be locked up in the very imminent future, if not.
R. Kelly has pled not guilty but was denied bond. So
I guess he's locked up somewhere.
Anyway, not so little Bow Wow.
He's at the high school that Sean goes to. They become friends.
He's particularly designed to be that person that Sean will talk to. Because if he wasn't in the movie, Sean has no one to talk to.
Well, yeah, because Sean's not when he first gets there, he can't speak Japanese. So
I mean, he doesn't make any attempt to speak Japanese for the entire fucking film.
until the very end with the Yakuza.
yeah, there's a scene towards the end where he speaks perfect Japanese, and we're like, wait, when did he learn Japanese?
Deleted scene.
He wasn't doing any homework, let's be honest. He was spending all of his time drifting. Was he playing Japanese language tapes while he was drifting around that mountain?
Maybe.
I guess a part of me is like, I wasn't cool enough to like live this life of like the Fast and Furious. Because in my head, I was like, I would just gone straight home. like a part of me is like, oh, my dad, like I wrecked a car. My dad just says, you know what? Just go to school and come back home. Easy rules. This guy's like, nope. Like, let's not listen to that whatsoever. But then otherwise, there wouldn't be a movie.
Yeah, exactly. If it was just Lucas Black going to school in Japan, I don't know, man. That's a different movie.
That's like a Ghibli movie.
Maybe Sofia Coppola would direct that movie. I don't know.
I think that's what I was wanting. This is what I meant. Like, it's definitely not a movie for me because a part of me is like, it feels like a fantasy for like people that like love cars and seeing guys really being up close in each other's faces.
Scenes like that make me uncomfortable.
I didn't understand why they had to be so close to each other when they're speaking.
Is it a Fast and Furious movie without that though? Like, I feel like it's now just a staple.
I guess, yeah.
Didn't South Park make like huge joke about it, how they found a Fast and Furious script and then they took out all of the gay sex because they thought that would ruin it. So then they went to go put it into producers and they're like, this isn't a Fast and Furious. Where's all the gay sex we have to cut out?
It was American Dad, but a part of me is like, but it makes sense because like there is this weird, like after a while getting into this movie, I just imagined it as that because like there's just certain scenes that I was like, there's so much more chemistry between the guys than this like romantic love interest of the girl that's from Australia.
Yeah, there is some chemistry between Sean and what's-her-face?
Neela. Anyone else think she kind of looked like Vanessa Hudgens?
Oh, man, you're like really into Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, I like Vanessa Hudgens. I think she's a good actress.
I don't know. She's also got kind of like a square face, I've noticed.
Who, Neela?
Yeah.
Maybe that was like on the casting sheet for this movie is we need a lot of square heads.
It's quite a striking jawline.
Yeah, she's I don't know. Yeah, you're right. She doesn't have a lot of chemistry with Sean in this movie. I kind of feel like maybe this movie should have just gone all in on the gay romance and that might have made it a more interesting experience. I don't know. He hooks up with Bow Wow and Bow Wow has a car.
Oh, so good.
This car that he has, they kind of tease it like it's going to be some kind of Japanese supercar on this revolving garage thing. And it turns out that it is a Volkswagen Touran with a bunch of Incredible Hulk decal all over it.
I like the hair that they put on like just above the windshield.
Yeah, this was back when Universal still had the rights to Hulk and were trying to make Hulk movies.
Even before it turned all the way around, I was like, that looks like a fist print from the Hulk. And I'm like, oh, it's a Hulk car. Oh, are they going to race the Hulk car? No, they're not.
No, they never do.
I wanted to see that car totaled because it's just awful and I would be embarrassed by that.
I just love the sheer audacity of that guy to live his his optimal life, goals.
And I think that's kind of like why Sean likes this kid,
yeah,
because he has no bones about rolling around in this monstrosity.
Completely uninhibited about his car, his own car preferences. I love it.
I mean, you like what you like, yeah?
Damn right.
So, sorry, I'm going to keep calling him Bow Wow. His character's name is is Twinkie, I believe.
Yes, and Sean keeps calling him Twink throughout the movie, and we were like, does Sean actually know what that means?
I mean, I bet you the writer did.
But like wait, just like you've watched all these films, is there any representation whatsoever of like LGBT?
No.
Okay, so then what is this?
None of it, not off the top of my head, I don't remember there being any.
Because I'm curious if they would do, because a part of me feels like this fan base would be like uncomfortable.
I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if Han had come out at the end.
He has a romance with Gal Gadot.
That's right, Wonder Woman is his girlfriend.
Oh, right, sorry.
Bow Wow takes him to a car meet, which, you know, obviously he's been told he's not allowed to go anywhere near cars, but so the first thing he does is go near cars, you know, good thinking, Sean. And at this car meet, we meet Han, played by Sung Kang.
Yay!
My favorite character in this franchise.
I love him too.
He's great.
He's a good character.
He is just effortlessly fucking cool in these movies. He's always eating, like he's like fucking Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11.
Yes.
He's just, every scene he's in, he's like popping chips in his mouth and stuff.
But like girls are also feeding him though, so it's not even
Yeah.
just he. That's how cool he is he's being fed.
He's living his best life. So interesting thing about Han is this character, I thought this character was in the first Fast and Furious movie. It turns out he's not. This is his introduction to the series, but it is not his introduction to the movie world.
No.
Because Sung Kang played this same character in Justin Lin's Better Luck Tomorrow.
What?
Apparently it's the same fucking guy.
Yeah.
That Better Luck Tomorrow has nothing to do with the Fast and Furious franchise, but it's the same fucking character.
I feel like that's like a nod to like his older work, because like it's Better Luck Tomorrow is movies that no one knows about unless you follow Justin Lin or like you're Asian.
I don't know. I saw that movie around about when it came out, and I did not follow Justin Lin, and I'm not Asian.
Okay, well then there we go. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, well, you know, I try.
But it's a nice nod, though. I always kind of like when movie directors nod their older work for like their hardcore fans.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not like a huge fucking thing. I can't.
It's not an M. Night Shyamalan kind of driving up in and having your own scene, so it's all good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Han. Oh, I love this guy.
So good.
He's just a...
Pure.
Yes, exactly. He's pure.
I mean, he is very much the Mr. Miyagi of this movie, in that he has a very kind of Zen philosophy about drift racing and how, you know, it's not about just being faster than the other guy, that there's more to it than that.
I do like his whole notion of like trying to test someone to see their character, and that's how you choose who you have by your side. Like, again, every time he talked, I was like, or every time the camera moved away from him and back to Sean, I'd be like, go back, please.
We also meet the villain of this movie, a guy called DK, which we're told
Donkey
stands
Kong.
for Drift. Yeah, it stands for Donkey Kong. No, it doesn't. It stands for Drift King. This guy is not the most interesting of characters either. His general thing seems to be he's Yakuza. He likes to drive his car, and Neela is very much his girlfriend.
Even though she doesn't want to be.
Yeah, that's kind of all we're really given about this character.
I don't know. I guess like, he was kind of interesting too. It's one of the ones where like I feel like everyone's like out acting. Like he was a good actor. Like I felt he was intense, but he just wasn't given anything else to work with.
He's fine. I just feel like the character again is kind of underdeveloped. So he challenges Sean to a race, and Sean, being like the meathead that he is, decides that he's going to accept this challenge. Except what he doesn't realize is that this is a drift race.
I think it's like drifting. Like a part of me is like if you saw that on a YouTube video, you'd be like, "That's a movie," because like it's a whole another world. And like that's part of me when this movie came out. Like I was actually curious because like again, it's taking street racing into a different place where it means something else to those people. But again, it was kind of like I don't know. They didn't really go into it. Maybe the Yakuza storyline was one of the better things of this movie. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
DK has challenged Sean to a race, and it's a drift race. Sean doesn't have a car, so Han gives him his car to do it in. Foolish move, Han, because Sean fucking mangles this car. This guy does not have much luck in these car races. This car gets absolutely ruined by Sean's inability to take corners. So
When he got in Han's car, I was like, oh god, is he gonna completely destroy this car too? I'm like, this is...
I would need some kind of fucking collateral before I
Yeah.
let this guy behind the wheel of my my vehicle.
Wait, but do you think he did it just because he knew he'd wreck it, and therefore by wrecking it, he'll be under his control? Because that's dark.
Sorry, I'm gonna give some brief backstory.
Go.
To Han. So before he went to Japan, he pulled off like 2 ginormous heists.
Oh, that's why he's rich.
Yes. So he is incredibly rich. So he can throw a car away no problem. So, best case scenario, he can drive that car and he, like, in payment, he races it for him. So either he has a good racer, or 2, he's now in debt to him if he, like, wrecks the car. So then he has a lackey. So honestly, I agree with Han. There's not a lose-lose here.
I think he just wanted Sean as somebody that he could trust because DK wanted him for his money, and he only stuck around with DK because DK's influence protected him, kind of thing. And
did anybody else notice Bow Wow breaking the fourth wall in this scene?
Oh, in the elevator?
Yeah, when he gets in that elevator full of women and he just looks at the camera and gives it a little wink. I was like, fuck off, Bow Wow.
I don't think there's any movie that's gotten away with a fourth wall break.
Ferris Bueller gets away with it just fine.
he's basically like Zach Morris, though.
Less racist, but yeah.
But hold up, okay. A part of me, it's like I grew up kind of watching a lot of Japanese dramas. So like when I saw this movie, there were like a few actors that were like, "Oh, I saw you in this like college drama," or "I saw you in a live action Sailor Moon." And so when I came to this movie, I'd be like, "Yeah, let's see what they're gonna do." Like, oh, they have no lines at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of kind of stock characters just hanging around in the background of this movie.
Like there's well-known Japanese actors in this, but they're like just...
That's probably a cynical move on the part of Universal, right? To try and like to sell it overseas, I'd imagine.
Well, wasn't most of this movie actually filmed in LA because they couldn't shut down any of the Japanese like streets?
I did not know that. They fooled me.
Yeah, doing that on the streets of actual Tokyo would probably be a huge safety threat.
It's true, but there's the scene where they're drifting through the crowd. Spoilers. And that's at Shibuya crossing. So I'm glad they did that in CG because there's no fucking way. That place is always packed brim to brim, exactly like it's shown there.
I just want to like watch YouTube videos of people drifting. Well, I could just watch this movie again too. I could do that.
There you go.
I mean, they drifted in that thing in the parking lot, the spiral thing.
The up ramp, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's always cool.
So good.
I mean, who hasn't tried to do that in a fucking multi-story car park? No? Nobody? Just me? Okay, fine, just me.
How'd it go?
There was a multi-story car park in the city near where I used to live, and we used to try and drift our cars up there. Doesn't really work when you're doing it in a Ford Fiesta.
Feels very you.
I mean, I grew up in a small town where sometimes in the winter, if you were watching the Late Show and you got out and your car was one of the only cars in the mall parking lot and it's like covered in snow, it's donuts time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a donut person. This movie's hard to watch for me.
I remember when I was first learning how to drive, somebody was like right behind me and they were speeding, but I had to make a right, and I was in my mom's car, so she was driving with me. And I didn't learn that you have to slow down to turn, but I ended up drifting.
Hey!
I drifted onto like the side street.
You're a natural born drifter.
It's true, and my mom had like the arm on the she's grossing everything, and she's screaming and I'm screaming, so we're just like "Wah!" as we're going by, and she's like, okay, so that was terrifying, never do that again, thank you very much. But from there also, we need to drive more because you're scared and you can't like feel scared while you're driving, so continue on, go somewhere else.
I mean, it would be nice to actually have the skills that the drivers actually have in this movie. Because I feel like you can weather anything. You can weather any weather in Canada if you're able to drive like this.
There needs to be a Fast and Furious that takes place in Canada.
Yes.
Oh man, Fast and Furious Toronto drift.
It's just people driving in inclement weather. No, not Toronto, like Calgary, like Winnipeg.
If you did it in Toronto, it wouldn't be much of a movie because you would just be stuck in traffic.
You'd be stuck in traffic.
On the DVP, just got to sitting.
Or you'd be backed up on an intersection because there's constructions and, reduced lanes.
Oh my god, downtown.
Yeah, driving in this city kind of sucks.
No, but they would just do it at night, because isn't the first Fast and Furious in LA? Is it? LA.
Yeah, it is.
And like LA is notorious for traffic. You just had to pick the right time of day. So there could be a Fast and Furious. There is Fast and Furious that happens in Toronto all the time. If you just Google it. No, let's not, because Googling is a theme in this. But like,
I've got it. No, but like people have been racing a lot, especially since like lockdown. People think that they can just, now that there isn't as much congestion going on, they feel as though they can just like do whatever. I get challenged all the time.
At the start of lockdown, when everybody was scared to come out of their house, driving in this city was fantastic.
It was so good.
Because there was no traffic. It was just, you could get to where, I could get from one side of the city to the other in like 15 minutes flat. And that would normally take me an hour, you know?
The funny thing is, like, people, if they had that, I feel like some people would be like, yeah, I'm tempted to like speed. It's great. A part of me would still follow the rules so exactly. I feel like I'll still follow like the speed limit. I'll still check everything.
You've never had a speeding ticket?
No.
I haven't either.
Oh, I feel like the real bad boy of the podcast now. I've had several of those. Not since I moved to Canada, but back in the UK, I had several instances where I may have been going a wee bit too fast.
You didn't have a red car in the UK, did you?
I certainly did at one point. I had a Toyota Celica that was a red.
Ooh.
Yeah, I used to try and drift that fucking thing. We had a lot of roundabouts in the UK.
Oh yeah, you guys do.
You guys don't have roundabouts apart from like out in the suburbs here, but in the UK,
oh, those look frightening.
But those things are great to try and drift around. And I lived in a town with a lot of roundabouts on like big dual carriageways, so we used to try and drift around those things. Sometimes we would end up not on the roundabout anymore.
I remember my mom and I went up to Quebec to pick up my grandfather's ashes, and on the way back, she was just driving really fast because I was young and I had drank like 3 Powerades, like the size of my forearm, and I was just like, Mom, like I can't hold it. She's like booking it. She's like 140 and she's like, just hang on there, kiddo. So then I ended up like she had to pull over at some point, and then like cops just went like blaring by because there was another person, so we had pulled off, so the people behind us got pulled over, and my mom's like, ooh, that was a close one. So she still got pulled over when we were going into a town. So, you know, the cop kind of looked at her and she's just like, listen, I've had a really bad day. And she kind of like looks at my grandfather's ashes, which were in the front seat at the time, and he was just like, listen, okay, I get that you were in the rule, I'm gonna give you a warning, but I'm also gonna like radio ahead and tell them your license plate, so if you're not driving properly, then they will pull you over and they will give you a ticket.
I think you just unlocked a life hack right there. How to get out of getting a speeding ticket. Carry around the ashes of a loved one in your cup holder.
Keep an urn in your passenger seat, and then
can you go in the carpool lane with an urn? Does that count? I don't think it does it?
Probably not.
That'd be a funny one to argue if you get pulled over.
That is true.
There's only one of you in the car. Oh, really?
Do you have to bring in like Ouija board so then they can also say like,
yeah,
here I am?
Sir, I need you to put in your details.
All right.
That urn isn't wearing a seatbelt.
So yeah, Han kind of takes Sean under his wing and has him like running around Tokyo doing errands for him. But they're also spending time like hanging out. And at this point we get like a valuable lesson from Han. And he says that he has money and that it's trust and character that he needs around him. At which point I was like, thank you, Han. Finally, this movie has some kind of purpose.
Also, would you go to a Japanese spa house or water house? What are they called? That was a fun... There it is. Yeah. It was a fun scene for me.
Oh, when that big sumo guy basically throws him through the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm all for seeing people getting thrown around by big dudes.
Where he's like, he owes me money.
And he tried to speak Japanese. I was like, all right, here he is, like, getting to know, like, the culture. Because, like, when I'm...
Sure, he's trying to integrate.
He was testing his loyalty.
Did you guys know about onsen, so the Japanese bathhouses?
No.
So basically, you are not allowed in them if you have visible tattoos.
Oh.
Yeah, there are very specific ones that do still allow it, but tattoos are still pretty taboo. Like, of course, they're still getting used to the idea Westerners have tattoos all the time, and it's not that bad. But what happens is that, or it used to be that the Yakuza were the only ones with tattoos.
I was going to say, because isn't tattooing quite a big part of the Yakuza culture?
Yes, and I believe it's actually banned now, but you have to have like a medical license in order to tattoo in Japan now. Like there's some weird laws going on right now. I can't remember what they are. I just know it's like very much black market to get a tattoo.
Wow.
Yeah. So with stuff like that, some guy with a huge back piece is very much like red flags, Yakuza, like bad guy in the onsen. It's very much easy to see that. So I could very much go to an onsen, but it would I'd probably run into a couple of Yakuza while I'm there, which is kind of terrifying but cool at the same time.
But, you know, at risk of putting big red targets on all our backs, this is a pro Yakuza podcast, no? Okay,
Yeah.
no, okay, maybe not.
Listen.
They're descended from samurai.
Well, then, in that case, they're probably very honorable, and I'm sure they never do anything wrong.
Such as, you know, take down a bunch of podcasters in Toronto, Canada.
Now I'm worried.
Hey, if the makers of this movie made it out alive, then I'm sure we're fine.
That's true.
This isn't the first movie to feature the Yakuza as villains, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was that fucking Sean Connery R.I.P. movie, Rising Sun. They were
What?
the bad guys in that as well. You never saw Rising Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes?
No.
I'm pretty sure there's a scene of Sean Connery in a kimono in that movie.
Neat.
I think Han is probably a better Bodhi analogy than Vin Diesel was in the first movie. The Patrick Swayze character in Point Break. I kind of feel like he plays like that sort of shady mentor role way better than Vin Diesel managed.
Yeah. No, I think just Han is a overall pretty cool character just because he could do whatever he wants and then he chooses to bet on the
underdog.
The underdog. Thank you.
Sure.
And honestly, he puts up with a lot of shit because I wouldn't hang out with Sean at all.
Wow, you guys really didn't like this kid.
I hate it.
I liked his cocky exuberance. I kind of liked that about him. I think like he's probably not as clean cut as Paul Walker is in the first two movies. He, he's kind of skeezy. I kind of like that.
See, I don't know.
Is that his real voice, or is he putting on an accent?
He's an Alabama boy.
Oh.
He's got a real southern twang to him.
That's unfortunate.
Wasn't crazy about the twang.
No, I think that is his real voice.
But if it's his real voice, I mean, I don't know.
I like it. I mean, I love that kind of southern drawl. That kind of I say, sir, I'm talking to you.
It's more of a contest.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry that I got my.
I thought it was a little bit weird that like the dad didn't have the same southern twang and neither did the mom. So like I guess that's just to show that maybe he was, in the southern area when he was young, but not them.
I mean, his dad, like we've established, his dad was in the Navy, so he's obviously like the kind of military brat that's been shipped around a lot, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you have to like just fill in the blanks on your own in order to like the character, and I feel like if you don't do that enough, you come out just not liking the character. That's just how it is.
If you don't write for the character, you don't like him.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like I say, he's kind of cocky. He's kind of playing the fish out of water role here, and I'm always like somebody that admires a fish out of water scenario. So,
do they? Okay, what are the fish out of the water scenarios in this besides just going to Japan? And
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but like how there's scenarios of how to deal with it. I guess there's the onsen, and then there was going to school and feeling lonely.
This movie needed a scene of him trying to figure out a Japanese toilet, like in Crocodile Dundee, where he like finds the bidet.
So, really quick story about when I went to Japan.
Go.
One of my best friend, Nigel. So, I am definitely built for Japan. I'm just like the size of me. I'm 5'2". So the spacing is totally fine. The hotel is probably the entirety of it is the size of a bedroom.
Right.
So it's very, very small. My friend Nigel is about like 6'2", like just big guy, right? So he sticks out like a sore thumb. First thing we try to do when we go into our hotel room is figure out how to turn on the lights. So we're like kind of trying to figure out all over the place. And it turns out you have to put your room key into a slot and it'll turn on all of the lights. It'll power the entire thing, right?
I've seen hotels do that before.
It's really cool. So we figured that out, right? And apparently, so it was Cohen and I, and then our friends, Haley and Nigel in another room. So apparently Nigel thought it was the same idea. So he went to go swipe down on like the wall panel, but it turns out that was that was the toilet panel. So what happened was the bidet just like goes and shoots up and out and shoots him directly in the eye.
Oh.
So he's in the dark and then also got shot in the face by the toilet. by the future toilet.
Somebody's ass had been in that bidet as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
That makes a good like vacation. It's like stories like that. Be like, it's a good
Right?
vacation.
Really? That's what makes a good vacation for you, is getting ass water in your face?
No, it's just like the weird experience that like you remember it. But it's like it's a
true.
good memory that you can always call back to every time you see a bidet. Like I'm sure like now you go to a party and some dude has a bidet in their house, you'd be like, hey, Nigel, remember this? Yeah, good vacation.
Look, I could work a toilet, Nigel.
I'd be like, check out a little rich boy with a bidet in their house.
It is
Fucking
true.
Yep.
Use paper like the rest of us, you scumbag, you fucking 1%er.
I must say, though, that the toilets are incredibly, like, future. They can warm your butt. And, like, so apparently one of the things is that for women, they really don't like the idea of other women being able to listen to your bathroom habits.
Yeah.
So they have
That's
that
fair.
speaker where it sounds like flushing, because what used to happen is women would flush a bunch of times so that
my
nobody
God.
could hear them go to the bathroom. So they were just wasting so much water. So Japan was like, you know what we'll do? We'll put a button so you can simulate that you're flushing, but then you aren't actually, and then nobody can hear you. So then, yeah, you can just press a button and it's just like this huge noise as, you know, somebody's in the bathroom.
That would do wonderfully here. Like they should bring that here.
Right?
Because there's been so many
Yeah.
like, what took you so long in the bathroom? It's like the person on the other stall wouldn't go, so I had to wait.
So you just don't have to know what's going on, right? It's just this very loud noise and just be like, oh yeah, sorry, you know.
Or they turn all the faucets on in the sink before they go in the
Yeah.
bathroom stall. I've seen that before.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like it's very much a secretive kind of place, and I like that. I can.
See, we needed more bidets with Sean in this film, and then maybe I would have liked him more.
How did we even get onto bidets? Oh yeah, Crocodile Dundee. I forgot. Jesus.
You brought it up, dude.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
But you're right. It doesn't really show Sean exploring that many aspects of Japanese culture beyond drifting. Like the food that he eats at school
It looks so good.
looks amazing.
Oh,
There's a deleted scene on this movie where they trick him into eating a plate full of sake.
oh, bro.
Sorry, not sake.
Wasabi?
Wasabi. Sorry.
Yeah.
They trick him into eating.
Oh,
And I guess the idea is that he's meant to be appalled and disgusted by it, but he just chows down, finishes it, and takes money from Little Bow Wow as part of a bet for eating it.
Good for him.
You know, I guess that was their extent of integrating him into Japanese culture, is he eats some wasabi.
Yeah, honestly, they put that on everything.
It's because it's delicious.
I'm not really a fan, but I know people that absolutely love wasabi.
Yep, I'm one of them.
I'm the true, like, pepper is too spicy.
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
Like, it's so bad. I want to be better. It's not.
See, now I'm just thinking about Japanese food. Like I've always wanted, this is such a tangent. I always wanted to try those like seasoned things that you put on rice. You know, like they're like in a little like spice packet, and you
Like dashi?
is it dashi or like is it togarashi? No.
Yeah, because there's the little, like, designs and stuff like that you can put on it, and it's the, like, flavor.
I guess part of me is like as I'm talking about this, like I really just wanted another movie when I'm watching this. I just wanted a completely different movie.
I want more Japanese aspects, and then I
Yeah.
want more vroom vroom, so I'm torn.
But I guess this movie hinges on whether or not like the driving scenes are good. And I guess we have
they
the
are.
first. Yeah. So like that's what I remember.
You're talking about like the food. Did you just want to watch Jiro Dreams of Sushi instead? Because
I haven't. That's a great movie. I watched that man make an egg. Like what's the egg? Oh crap. I can't remember the egg one that you put in a tamagoyaki.
yeah, sure. I mean, if you want a Japanese food movie, holy hell, that's as good as they come, right?
I just wanted another. No, but the chase scenes were fun. There's that part where he was doing a drifting around. There's a weird thing that they do with the women in this, but anyways, like they were drifting around those women in the car.
Oh, yeah, and she gives them her phone number.
Yeah, he drifts around their car. Yeah,
Smooth move, Han.
mating dance in a car.
Yeah, kind of.
Would you? Someone did that to you, but if someone drifted around you in a circle, we'd be like, yeah, date me.
Yes. 100%.
All right,
Just putting it out there.
ladies and gents, that's how you win Net's heart.
If
See,
you
that's the
see me
thing.
parked up in a Walmart and you want to get the keys to my heart, then just drift your car around me a few times.
I don't get, because like for me, there's those cars that, is it a muffler? Where all of a sudden they're just really, really loud and crackly. Like they just, like every time I pass.
That's a lack of a muffler.
Oh, okay. Because every time they.
Yeah, it's been demuffed.
So like every time those people pass by, I'm filled with just like annoyance. So part.
Yeah, it is very irritating.
I try to break up with my boyfriend every time. I'm like, oh, sorry, that guy's got a bigger presence.
Tailpipe.
So clearly I have to go after that guy. Sorry, it's not working out. You don't have tailpipe like that guy.
Thank goodness they don't have it in here. They just have nitro.
Yeah.
And drifting.
Oh yeah, the nitro.
Yeah, Nas. I love that he was totally cool with, like, Han was just like, yeah, go ahead and, use the Nas right away, when Brian made, like, this huge deal about it because he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I guess that shows that Sean's like, he's natural, he just can't get drifting.
Sure. They kind of drop this nugget that they don't get chased by the police because the police cars aren't tuned to go faster than the cars that they're driving.
I feel like that's not true.
I kind of want it to be true.
And I can't believe it takes them 3/4 of the way through the movie to point out that they go through a lot of fucking tires.
Yeah, that's right.
Throughout the movie, we're like, where are they getting these tires from? Whoever sells the tires in this neighborhood must be fucking rich.
Okay, so again, there's a deleted scene that gives Bow Wow's character a little bit of backstory, in that's kind of his main racket.
He sells the tires?
No, he's stealing the tires from
Oh.
garages and basically selling them to Han.
Okay.
Again, why didn't you just leave it in the movie? It just gives him a little bit of flavor.
It explains why he can afford to trick out his car to look like the Hulk.
Oh, fuck that car.
I wanna believe that he has like a bunch of other cars that they're all like
adventure
themed around other characters. Captain America, Spider-Man, like.
I don't know. That's kind of. I mean, that now I think of it, that's kind of cute. It's always interesting to see people in their hobbies, and I guess that's Bow Wow's or Twinkie's hobby.
I mean, if that's his dream car, that's his dream car. He's proud to drive that thing. I'm just sad that we didn't get to see it race. I wanted to see that thing race.
That's true. I don't think it would handle well at all.
It's a fucking Turan. It's like literally, it might as well be driving a minivan.
You know what? So is that like a joke that's lost on people that don't realize it's not? Is it a fast car?
No, especially.
It doesn't look like it.
It's a tricked out car, I would imagine.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be on Pimp My Ride.
I forgot about that show.
That's something they would definitely turn out.
They should have done a spin-off remake of The Love Bug starring that car.
I mean, they did do a remake of The Love Bug. It had Lindsay Lohan in it, right?
Oh, there have been so many remakes of that movie. There have been so many sequels and remakes to The Love Bug. My brother marathoned all of those when we were isolating.
Can we get a fucking Herbie in this Tokyo Drift? Could we drop like a Volkswagen into this?
Name a better crossover. I dare you. Transformers, so.
Yeah, you nailed it. Transformers Fast and Furious crossover. That's the fucking dream. What do we call it? Transfurious.
Yeah.
Which could also be a J.K. Rowling movie, I guess, but...
I've got a pitch for Fast and Furious 10.
Toss that pitch out there.
So I've only got the ending so far, but what if, right? So we all know that John Cena in the 9th movie is supposed to be the bad guy.
Uh-huh.
Spoilers.
It's in the trailer, Roddy. The trailer's been out since January of this year.
And like every other movie, it's just never going to come out. It's just going to get lost in the abyss.
That's fine. I mean, I kind of want to see Han again, but that's also fine.
Sure. You'll see it. It'll rock up on like Netflix in 6 months' time, right?
It'll be great. And then I can just binge all of them again.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so what if it's Vin Diesel versus John Cena at the very end, right? But then John Cena is saying that he was actually the good guy and trying to protect La Familia because Paul Walker's ghost was trying to make them all into ghosts because he missed his family. So he was trying to kill them this whole time.
Whoa.
But John Cena's like, no, I've been trying to protect you. So then all of a sudden Paul Walker's ghost comes through and he's just like, no, this is it, Vin Diesel, you and me are brothers for life. And then he tries to like kill Vin Diesel and he's just like, no, brother, like, this is it, goodbye. And then he drops a helicopter on him because everybody knows that ghosts are not impervious to helicopters only. And then it turns out that the helicopter was a Decepticon. And then
Oh, wait, and then you can find out because John Cena's in that fucking Bumblebee movie, right?
Right.
And that it's actually his character from Bumblebee. Oh,
Right.
It just ties in so beautifully.
I feel like you joke, but that's why the Fast and Furious franchise has been going on for so long, because they probably would actually think, could we do this?
Endless possibilities.
Yeah, it's that.
I mean, you run a dangerous game when you start doing those crossover movies. You guys heard about the Jump Street sequel, right?
Oh no.
So there was meant to be a third Jump Street movie, and the pitch for it was a crossover with Men in Black, where Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum actually become Men in Black, and that sounds fucking great.
That does sound great, actually.
That does sound kind of hilarious.
And then I think it got kiboshed because of that Sony leak that happened like 5 or 6 years ago when all those emails leaked. I think the idea got fucking shit canned. Too bad because, fuck it, why not?
Right. But yeah, aren't both, no, I think we went through this. Fast and Furious is not owned by Universal.
Fast and Furious is Universal and Transformers is Paramount. Do you know what? They can work it out, right?
Well, they both have rides at the Universal Studios.
Exactly. If fucking Sony and Disney can hash out a deal to get Spider-Man in those Avenger movies,
it's true.
I'm
Anything's
fucking
possible.
sure they can hash out a Transformers Fast and Furious crossover.
I believe in them.
You know what? It's weird. One thing I do manage to I haven't even watched the movie, but sometimes I just watch that scene in Fast and Furious where it's Paul Walker and Vin Diesel and they say goodbye and then that sad song plays. I'm like, this is a nice...
In 7, what is it, like cross paths or like the...
It's such a nice scene. Like a part of me is like, that's just the only scene I need from this film.
A fork in the road scene, I think it is. And then he just goes.
But you know how like that, I feel like that movie, you play that song and then like, I feel like grown men will cry.
I got a little teary at that moment in Fears.
Yeah!
I don't know, man. I think I was a little bit freaked out. And it was just such a jarring ending because, like, the whole franchise, if you watch it in, like, the binge that I did, the whole franchise is based off of Brian being like, okay, Vin Diesel's doing something, like, I gotta go with Dom, and then his wife being like, yes, you need to go protect my brother, like, you guys need to be together. So then, like, that's what the entire series was. That was what 7 was, too. Like, yeah, this is it. Like, we're going to be together. It's gonna be great. Like, we will always have each other's back. And then all of a sudden, like, of course, he died just before that final scene. So then Dom had to have the decision of, you know what, no, we're cutting him out, like that's it.
I mean, there's been some chit chat on the internet, which is always a reliable source of information, that they're going to try and bring back Paul Walker's character for one of these sequels, and that they're going to use his brother and deep fakes to bring him back. Bad idea, movie. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Please just recast him.
But I guess that's why maybe this, now I'm starting to realize why this movie did poorly. It seems like with the Fast and Furious, there's a big theme of like family, and then that's not really that present in this film, is it?
I feel like that was introduced maybe in the subsequent movies to this. Because Vin Diesel's not in the second movie, so they can't really lean on that kind of like brothers relationship that him and Paul Walker supposedly foster in the first movie.
Yeah, it definitely pops up, I would say, in the fourth movie again, because then they go to Mexico.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, yeah, they all come together in the fifth. Like, Roman's back from Fast and Furious 2. Like, Ludacris is in it. Han's back. Gal Gadot's in it. Like, just everybody. Letty's there.
I guess you gotta give the producers and the creators this, like, mad applause for the fact that they did create its own universe that has the legs to just do whatever they want. Like, with the Hobbs and Shaw. Like, it literally can do anything it wants now. It could be a...
Okay, I need to talk about the Hobbs and Shaw scene, which is my favorite in the entire franchise, where you can tell that they've just like lost all kind of, I guess, restraints on this franchise, because there's a scene in Hobbs and Shaw. This is, I guess, a potential spoiler, but it doesn't actually add to the plot in any kind of way, where there are 7 like tow trucks. And there's a helicopter.
Oh, I know the scene you're talking about.
Exactly the scene I'm talking about.
It's near the end of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So there are 7 tow trucks. And then what they do is they're trying to stop this helicopter from getting away. So they make a line where they will all connect their tow trucks using the hooks. So then they're all together. And then the very front one hooks onto the helicopter because The Rock ends up throwing the hook at the helicopter and it works. So then the helicopter goes and tries to lift them all up. So then there's like 7 tow trucks up in the air connected to this helicopter. And I'm pretty sure The Rock is the one that's holding them all together, is from the helicopter and the tow trucks. And I'm just like, listen, I could bend it so that I could think that Captain America did that. Sure. Right? I'm like, all right, the modifications to this guy's body, plausible. He's even like, he's having a hard time. The Rock as Hobbs.
I don't know, man. He's got that Scorpion King energy. I think
that's true.
Yeah.
Anubis is like, yeah.
I guess that's, I don't know, like, it's, again, you come to these movies with an idea of what they're going to provide, and you throw your logic out the door. And just, again, what makes or break is the action pieces, and I guess the family, chemistry.
Yeah, I can tell that it actually broke in the 7th movie. I think that was the end, because that was the movie where they were all like, they had a bunch of cars coming out of that airplane, like I mentioned earlier, and they all had parachutes on it, and that's how they started their heist. So I think 7 is the tipping point where they were just like, we have to one-up ourselves. What are we going to do? I know, a bunch of cars coming out of an airplane.
Don't they drive a car through a building into another building?
Yes, they do. That's true.
50 stories in the air in that movie as well.
Yeah, they were in the penthouse. And then they're just like, okay, we can't stop. We're just going to have to drive. And then they crash through one side. And then they're like, oh my God, we still can't stop. So then they go through another building. And then all of a sudden they jump out of the car. And then the car leaves that 3rd building and crashes into the sidewalk below.
And it's awesome.
It's really great because it's the fastest car in the world, and I don't know.
You may notice we're not really talking much about the plot of this film because not a lot happens in the second act of this movie.
Vroom, vroom.
There's a lot of vroom vroom and like Sean's learning how to do the drifting.
He eats lobster from a vending machine, I think.
Vending machines are great in Japan. I miss them the most because my friend, he was able to get a Coca-Cola Plus.
Without getting sprayed in the face.
Without getting sprayed in the face. Because Coca-Cola Plus is just like regular Coke Zero, but it has prune juice in it. Because Japan has such a large population of old people that they made Coke that makes you poop.
Oh my God.
I love Japan. Also, there was this one mystery vending machine that we did, and I ended up getting a tiny helicopter for $10. Cohen, my boyfriend, ended up with a MP3 and a lottery ticket, which he did not win. Nigel ended up with like earphones, like over the ear earphones, which was good. And I can't remember what my other friend
Wait, this
got.
is just from a random vending machine?
Random vending machine in an alleyway somewhere.
Wow.
You put in $10 and you press any button and you just get an object.
Is there a guy on the other side of the wall unloading a stolen truck, maybe?
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know, here. He just pushes it through.
It's, what is it called? Gotcha?
Yes, it's a gotcha.
It's basically a gotcha, but like $10 a pop.
Exactly.
Instead of a tiny little toy, you get an actual product.
What's a gotcha? I mean, look, for our British listeners, a gotcha is something Noel Edmonds used to dole out on a Saturday night to unwitting celebrities. What's a fucking gotcha?
I guess it could be, it's like a mystery machine type deal where you just put in your money and you could get anything, really. Like the coin machines where you can put something in and turn the dial and it'll drop out. That kind of idea.
It kind of sounds a lot like gambling.
It's a little gambly.
You know how all these video games now have loot crates?
Yeah, it's physical loot crates.
Part of it can be traced back to Gotcha.
Was it just an MP3 or like an MP3 player?
It's like tiny ass MP3 player.
Oh, okay.
Like immediately once I got home, my helicopter was immediately like it was just gone. But it was a remote helicopter. Like I flew it once in the hotel room. I thought it was really cool. And then I packed it away and I have no idea where it had ended up.
Do you imagine that how they come up with these action sequences is like one of them has like a toddler and they just give them a bunch of cars?
Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying this whole time. I was just like, imagine they just have like this 3-year-old and then he's like, and then they hook on another tow truck and then they hook on another tow truck and then the Rock holds on to the helicopter and then...
That's amazing. It's just like a writer's room where they listen to this kid like, yeah, write it down.
I'm just picturing a screenwriter who's really stalled on his script, and then he turns his head, and like his 3-year-old has a bunch of like toy tow trucks linked together along with a helicopter and like a GI Joe who's like hanging onto them, and the screenwriter's like,
I guess you guys aren't familiar with Chris Morgan, who writes these movies. He's been writing the Fast and Furious movies since Tokyo Drift.
yeah.
He is actually only 7 years old, so
No, that makes sense.
He's like living the dream, like a steady paying gig for this long that seems to have no end.
oh yeah, I'm sure he's not short of a few dollars. He's probably making a lot of money off these movies, and fair play to him because these movies are a hoot. So.
I'm a little mad though because they've decided to sign on for 11 Fast and Furiouses. They had the
Wait, 11 in total?
11
Or 11 more?
no 11 total.
Oh, 11 total. Okay.
Why didn't they just stop at 10? Why didn't they just stop at 10?
Because they've got to get back from space.
The ghosts.
That's what 11's going to be, is space ghosts.
God.
That's a very expensive DVD bundle.
Yeah, right?
I mean, by the time that movie comes out, who the fuck is going to be using DVDs? Aren't we just going to be like optically
Yeah.
beaming movies right into our eyeballs at that point?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
So I mean, okay, let's I'm going to try roping this back in.
No.
So to kind of
I mean, good luck to you.
one of the things that I would definitely like say that could be a big like fish out of water type deal for Sean.
You got it. You got his name.
I got him. Would be the transit system that they have there, because although it's incredibly efficient, their like line is all over one of them goes in a circle. Let me just say that. Like, if you get on the wrong like subway line, then you could literally just end up right back where you started. And Shinjuku Station is actually one of the busiest stations in the world, if not the busiest. So just being able for him to just be like literally standing there, not being able to read a single word, and all these people just passing him by with no thought. I would love to see that, because that would have kind of made me think like, yeah, he's in trouble here. Like this, I wouldn't say like he has this like arrogance to
Yeah.
him,
No,
where it's just like, I don't need to learn anything about this culture. Like I'll be fine on my own. I don't need anybody. Where it's like that like a scene like that could have very much been like, I don't know what I'm doing.
He's generally unfazed by any consequence. He's just like, whatever. So when it comes to that pivotal scene towards where he's like, let me fix my mistakes, I was like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Like someone legitimately had to die to be like, oh no, I get it.
Yeah. And he kind of brought and you mentioned it in the chat, Roddy. He kind of brought the Yakuza to his dad's door, and he's lucky that his dad's a Marine, because I don't know how that scene would have turned out otherwise.
Dude, if my dad had have seen that I brought the Yakuza, he would have just been like, oh, okay. And then like, just chilled, right? Like, my dad's such a chill guy that like nothing would faze him. But then I would just have to hang out with the Yakuza all day. So like, what?
Like, that's just a mistake. Let me fix my mistake. This is a huge mistake. And like for the dad too, like it's like I believe that my teenage son can handle this.
Oh yeah, he could just take on like,
Here, have this car I've been working on forever that's in the
Yeah,
garage.
I mean, they should be going straight into protective custody, but no. Oh yeah, okay, so this DK character comes by and beats the living shit out of Sean because he's been hanging out with his girlfriend, which is like EA toxicity.
The second time in the movie that's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of like ownership of females is a kind of gross thing that runs through this film.
Every time he talks to a woman who's taken.
But then we are introduced to DK's uncle, played by Sony Chiba. I fucking love Sony Chiba. He was in the Street Fighter movies in the 70s that I know Tarantino bigged those up a lot and kind of put those on my radar. Those films are great. He is wearing the most pimp-ass suit in this fucking film as well. He's got this white suit. He looks dope as fuck. It is amazing. But yeah, so it's cool that Sony Chiba shows up in this movie. I guess like he'd had like a resurgence in popularity because he was in
Kill Bill?
Yeah, but it's always cool to see him in a film. Roddy, didn't you say something about he like fathered a child at the age of 70?
Yeah, I was watching a Japanese movie about a ghost.
nice. Go on.
It's basically about a movie where a rock star dies while recording all his emotions into a tape or something like that. And then 10 years in the future, they take back that tape. And every time this new stranger plays it, he comes back to life. And then like, oh, this ghost can sing. Who is this ghost? And that is Sonny Chiba's son.
Oh, it's his son. I was going to say, is it Sonny Chiba? Because I want to see this fucking movie.
Does the ghost get signed to a record deal?
No, it was actually quite sad and heartbreaking because every time they press play, it actually re-records, like it tapes over his memories or whatnot. So therefore that's the stakes. If you get to the end of the tape, he will officially be gone. And I was like, these are good stakes. Learn from that, Tokyo Drift. No.
The stakes are vroom vroom.
No,
Yeah,
there's stakes with the Yakuza plot and everything.
Yeah,
so they get into this car chase as a result of this fight. This is the bit that you were just talking about where they basically part a crowd in the middle of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Shibuya.
Fucking like it was the Red Sea and that Sean is Moses. It's insane. There's no way that there isn't going to be mass casualties in this kind of
thing. It was
Yeah.
tough to watch that. It's like, ugh, it's so like you cringe because you're like, ooh, gonna run over so many people.
The result of this scene is that Han's car gets taken out and then explodes, and Han is done. He is out of this fucking movie. And you would imagine out of this franchise, but as we've established, this is actually a sequel to the later movies. So I guess that's how he comes back. Isn't it retconned later on in one of the movies that it's actually Jason Statham's character that blows up his car?
7, yeah. Yeah, they say, it was so weird. They're just like, we need to get revenge because Han's dead. And then Vin Diesel's like, I'm gonna go find Han. So then he goes, and so who is the actor that is Sean Holmes?
Lucas Black.
Lucas Black is in it, and he's just like, yeah, this picture is all we could find in his car, and it was the picture of Gal Gadot, who was the romantic partner of Han.
But then by like the 8th movie, Jason Statham is friends with him, so I guess they didn't give that much of a shit about Han.
They had to work together to get Dominic back because he was being blackmailed into being the bad guy. This franchise is great.
Yeah, again, it seems like that's just the stuff to put all the chase scenes together.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty loose fabric holding this thing together.
Well, I guess but the fact that they have Jason Statham, they have The Rock, they have these really strong character, like not character actors, just strong actors that have like a lot of appeal that make you able to sit through all that weird coma brother kind of BS and finish the film.
It's true. I get this weird adrenaline rush whenever Vin Diesel says something stupid, but I'm like, yeah!
He opened his mouth.
I was like, that's so hype for some reason. And like, it actually got to the point where when I was doing my binge watch, my boyfriend said, you're not allowed to watch Fast and Furious before we go to bed because like, he's trying to go to bed and I'm just like bugging him and I'm
Laura's all wired now.
Do you know what you need?
What do I
Race
need?
car bed.
All right, so who here would actually, has anyone slept in a race car bed? I feel like we shouldn't knock it until you tried it.
I'm not knocking it. I want one.
We're putting wheels on our bed, apparently. I took the first offer.
Okay, but if you're getting into a race car bed, is it just a race car bed that looks like a race car, but it doesn't actually move, or do you want it to move?
No. I think it was like a Family Guy kit, or like skit again, where it was, I gotta put brakes on Chris's bed, and then it was Meg or something, and then they're just like hitting different things in their room because they don't have brakes on their car bed.
See, that looks like fun.
I had a bunk bed when I was a kid, but I'm an only child, so I just wanted to be tall. So realistically, I could get a loft bed, and that would have been fine, but it was very specific that I got the bunk.
I was watching this like YouTube documentary about these people that go to abandoned a love hotel in Japan.
Yeah.
And then they have themes for each room.
Yeah.
Like one of them is like the boxing, where it's like themed like a boxing ring, and like the bed is the middle portion of whatever the ring. And I think one of them was also like a futuristic race car, and it was the bed, and it's on its separate track, so it actually moves too.
What is this called? Is this a documentary about people doing an urban exploration? Or
Not really. I guess it's nonfiction. I don't want to say doc, but it's like maybe 10 minutes of these guys just exploring the hotel. An abandoned love hotel.
On like YouTube or something. Okay.
Yeah.
One of my the hotels that I want to go to, They have a hotel in, I can't remember where it is, but it's just all run by dinosaurs.
What?
What?
Yes. There is not like one actual person. It's all robotic dinosaurs. You self-check yourself in.
Yes.
You like it's just a bunch of animatronic dinosaurs, and then they like bow when you're like, going by and everything like that. And I want to stay
Good
there
grief.
so bad.
Sorry for my tangent. I just wanted to put that. But it ties back to Japan, and this movie is in Japan. So good job me.
Great segue, Roddy.
Yeah, man. Choice.
Well, where are we at right now? So Han's dead.
And then I stopped watching.
So basically, it is then decided that Sean is going to get the Yakuza off his back by beating DK in a race, which is kind of one of the dumbest fucking things I ever heard, but sure.
That's a very generous Yakuza lord. Like that guy seems, I don't know, bored.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if everything could just be settled by having some silly car races.
Also, he obviously doesn't give a shit if his nephew dies or not. Like, he clearly considers his nephew expendable, which is kind of funny, actually.
Didn't the other guy die too? Like his brother or whatnot? The guy who plays...
Oh, yeah. The guy who, in the yellow car, right?
Yeah.
He just, like, literally goes into a head-on collision. That was crazy.
Like, so that person's dead. So I imagine there's some grief on that part that they didn't really explore, but yeah.
Before they have the race, we find out that Sean's dad has been hoarding a busted old Mustang.
Yeah, it shows it earlier in like he spots his dad working on it earlier.
And his dad found it at a base, apparently.
So when he had to learn to drift, he had to learn to drive a car with a steering wheel on a different side and also, I guess, drive on the other side of the road. Am I getting this?
I don't know if that applies for drifting so much. They're not really obeying the rules of the road, right?
Oh, hold on. There is a quick rule that Cohen found out when he was doing a thing on drifting. There is one rule, it is unwritten, but you are not supposed to pass someone while you are both drifting.
I mean, that would be kind of hard, I guess.
It's apparently incredibly dangerous to do so. That is the only rule. There are no other rules than that I know of personally.
Did they show that in the movie at all?
They did. Somebody did pass. And I think it was the friggin' Gajin Shan person. So he didn't know, and that's something that Han should have taught him. I'm very disappointed.
But yeah, he spends the entire movie driving Japanese. Like, he has to learn how to drive Japanese cars. I don't know how. I mean, Neth, you can weigh in on this. Like, how much of an adjustment was it driving in the UK to driving in Canada?
Oh, you mean from sitting on the right hand side of the car or sitting on the left?
Yeah.
I don't know. It took me like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's not that... I don't know. But I guess... I think, okay, maybe the first time I ever did it, I suppose it was probably when I went to Nova Scotia about 10 years ago. And driving, like, on a Nova Scotian highway is very different from driving in the middle of, like, downtown Toronto. So I didn't have a problem with it because didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got this busted old Mustang that they do up. They put the engine from Han's car, I think, into the Mustang. And I always used to think that this was like a Mustang is a heavy car, and those Japanese cars are usually a lot lighter. I always used to think it was kind of bullshit that they put this engine in a Mustang. It turns out they actually did that. They actually put a 350Z engine into the Mustang and used that as the car for the movie. So I guess my mind was blown by that little fact. As somebody that owns and drives a Mustang, those things are like tanks to steer, so the fact that you could drift one of these kind of blew my mind as well, and I'm gonna definitely give it a go.
Gave you ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, be safe. Is there any way to be safe and street drive?
Sure, there is. It's by being good at it. I guess is the only safety measure you have is experience in that.
Well, where do people go and practice? Like, I'm assuming, where is it actually legal?
Probably like a privately owned airstrip or something. It's probably where these things kind of take place. So they have this race down a mountain. I'm pretty sure this mountain isn't in Japan. I'm pretty sure they filmed this somewhere in California, but I may be wrong. And Sean wins, unsurprisingly, but not before DK's car is completely written off.
Yeah.
Ends up on its roof after falling down a mountain. And when Sean gets out of his car and goes and confronts Sonny Chiba to get his pardon from the Yakuza, at no point does anybody go and check and see if DK is okay.
Did you notice that as soon as he crashes, everybody
People
cheers?
cheered.
That was so
that's
dark to me.
Fucked up.
He almost got crushed by the falling car, didn't he? Like when the car topples off the mat, like Doesn't he somebody almost gets crushed by it or something?
Yeah, that's right. He has to steer around it. That's like the last thing he does in the race. But like nobody gives a shit about DK. I kind of almost felt bad for this guy at this point.
It's kind of, this movie's like trying to say that car crashes, you'll totally survive if it doesn't explode.
Yeah.
That's true. For me though, I feel as though DK is just like a different version of like the rich kid.
Yeah.
With like the rich uncle type deal where like he's not entirely involved at all, but he's just spoiled by like the reputation preceding him and stuff like that. So I mean, realistically, he didn't do too much except, you know, like everything with Neela. So that is what made him.
But I mean, I guess we've already established that, and you know, people walk away from the crashes in this movie with relative ease, unless Jason Statham blows their car up, I guess.
For some reason.
They said that DK was the only person that could ever make it down that mountain, and we were like, so is there just a pile of cars at the base of the mountain?
It's just a collection of bodies.
It's just, you know, like DK is ironically saved by the pile of
His
dead
crash
cars.
barrier.
That would have been great. Just crashes and survives on a pile of dead people.
Hey, Nath, what movie came first, this or Speed Racer?
Speed Racer was 2 years after this.
Oh, okay. So they took inspiration from this, because when they were doing the downhill racing, I was like, Speed Racer!
Speed Racer's been a thing for years, for decades.
Yeah, Speed Racer was a cartoon in the 60s.
But like the filming style.
Speed Racer, Initial D.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about Initial D, which is the definitive fucking drift racing movies.
I'm pretty sure there's an Initial D car in this, is there not?
I think in the garage there's
a...
No, it's not a Supra. It's a Truno, an AE86, if we're being specific.
I haven't actually seen the Initial D movie. I watched some of the anime back in the day, and that had a Toyota Supra in it.
Yeah, the movie's pretty rad.
And I made fun of my boyfriend because his dad actually owned a Toyota Supra that he kept in immaculate condition, and it was only like a couple years newer than the one in the anime.
Oh, jealous! I used to want a Toyota Supra so badly.
They're a nice little car.
Yeah, and then the movie kind of ends, except for
dun, dun, dun.
We get a cameo at the end where Sean is hanging out at one of these car meets, and there's apparently somebody who wants to speak to him that knows Han, and Sean gets in his car and he looks over and it's Vin Diesel.
Woo.
Back for more Fast and Furious action, I guess.
With Riddick and Toll.
This is after Chronicles of Riddick tanked.
Yeah, oh.
That movie's a fucking episode, just throwing it out there.
I don't mind that one. It's more of the fact that I watched it in high school, so it just makes me go back to that time. You're like, whatever.
No, it's a bad movie. But yeah.
That was a weird sound. Yep. And that was me saying like, you know what? I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, Vin Diesel, he gets into a race with Sean and the movie cuts to credits. The end, I guess. Except that we get like a little excerpt of a Prodigy song, which is kind of cool.
The Initial D's on Netflix. I feel like I want to watch that now.
Yeah, you should. Initial D's good. How do you guys feel about Tokyo Drift?
It was fun. It was fun. I would watch it. I would watch it again.
So good. I love that movie so much. For no reason. It's a nonsense movie.
That's proving once again that audiences were fucking wrong on this one, because this film kind of rules. This may be our first fucking Good With Numbers episode, I think.
Good With Numbers.
We're going to have an entirely new theme song. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing any of that.
Just more high-pitched, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I think I see why people like this movie, but I'm not its audience. Like I said, a part of me was like wondering, like, oh, like there's a scene where they're at the convenience store and they're eating, and I was like, oh, I just want to like see more of the convenience store.
This movie didn't make you want to get behind the wheel of a car and just like, you know, tear around the freeway, no?
No, I think that's reckless.
Yo, let's get in a car real quick and then go to the convenience store.
Then we're killing two birds with one stone there.
No, I think what it is too, because even like when someone is speeding in a car and I'm the passenger, like I get scared. Like I don't want to be in that car.
Yeah, I'm not great with cars in general. I don't know. I just take the bus so often. It's not that I'm like straight up terrified of cars. I find it wigs me out now when I'm in a car because I'm not used to it.
No, yeah, and I feel like too, like I can watch these characters in a movie, but I feel like real life, sometimes the personas of people that do street drive, I don't know. I haven't met one. I haven't talked to anybody that's really into it. So like, I don't know if their persona matches the persona of these movies.
I've lived with 2 teenage boys on my street. Like, I mean, I guess since I was a teenager, but like 2 boys who have always been into souped up cars, and they're like both mechanics, so they fix up their own cars and everything. One of them has a train horn in his car.
Nice.
And for a long time, I could always tell when he was home, and it was usually around like 10 p.m. because you could always hear the like honk.
Jesus.
It's good.
Train horn? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not like a train whistle.
No. It's the big blare.
More like a modern, okay. Yeah, okay, got it. Not like a toot toot. Like
No, and it's good.
For a second there, I was picturing a very undignified car horn.
I love the idea that Vin Diesel's muscle car is like beep beep. Choo choo. As he comes on through. Showing up to that meet with Sean, and he's just like, choo choo.
Everybody's like, hey, Dom Toretto's here.
Yeah.
What do you think Bow Wow's horn sounded like in his old car?
Oh, please let it be a choo choo train.
Either that or it's just like fucking Eric Bana growling or something, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Hulk smash! Hulk
Wait, who plays
smash.
Hulk nowadays? It's Mark Ruffalo.
Mark
right?
Ruffalo, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was Eric Bana, and then
Ed Norton.
and then
And none of them have anything on Lou Ferrigno, so...
Lou Ferrigno is amazing, and I have to say that like there isn't much representation of deaf people in film and television, and my brother, who is deaf and who is also a huge comic book fan, had the privilege of growing up when that show was on, and he
That's cool.
fucking, just idolized this guy. Absolutely loved him.
Aww.
Yeah, so great.
That was our episode on Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, directed
Vroom, vroom.
by Justin Lin. Thank you, Justin Lin. This movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
Such a good director. Star Trek Beyond was amazing.
Yeah, he has a real fucking eye for shooting action.
I want him to direct another Star Trek film.
He's gonna have to get in line behind Quentin Tarantino, unfortunately.
Aww.
Fuck Quentin Tarantino. I mean, he's a good director, and I like his movies, but fuck him.
Some real Tarantino hostility going on there.
I want another Justin Lin Star Trek movie. Tarantino could go back to directing kung fu or cowboy shit or whatever. I don't care.
Fair enough.
No, that's definitely another discussion, because a part of me is like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to see a Tarantino version of Star Trek. I would rather see Justin Lin take it further.
Yeah, same. And honestly, my favorite movie ever that involves cars is Death Proof.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I love that movie. Yeah, oh yeah. I love it. So fun.
That's a good movie, it is.
I was not a fan the first time I saw it, but I've seen it like a couple of times since, and it's grown on me. There's a lot of cool stuff in that movie.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love that it's mostly a female cast. It blows the Bechdel test out of the water, because you have a bunch of women talking about rock and roll tunes and cars for most of the movie. Like it's great.
And it's actually really scary. Like, I remember like watching it in theaters, and it was like tense for the whole thing. Like, it was actually a scary antagonist, a scary villain.
I like it more than Planet Terror. The other
Yeah,
half of that
I didn't care for Planet Terror at all. Like I originally watched the 2 movies back to back and the whole grindhouse thingy.
That was fun though. In theaters?
So Roddy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing the wonderful Christmas classic, The Christmas Prince 2. Not Royal Baby. One of them. One of them is a classic.
Oh, man.
Is it a classic? Are we sure?
Is there more than one sequel to this movie?
It's a trilogy, guys.
Is it?
Oh, no.
I was unaware.
And we're going to do 2. This is the Empire Strikes Back of the Christmas Prince franchise.
I really think you're going off point with your definition of classic.
This is a Spider-Man 2 of the Christmas Prince. This is, what's the middle movies?
The Godfather
Towers?
Part 2 of the Christmas?
The two towers?
The 2 Towers.
2 Towers? That's my favorite, though.
So, yeah, who's ready for some Christmas?
I have no idea what this fucking movie is, and I'm terrified.
Yes, it also
Same.
features a festive orgy. So, yes. There
Oh.
we go.
Oh.
Of fun.
Great.
Until then, we have been Bad with Numbers from Toronto, Canada. Stay safe out there. Goodbye.
Bye.
Vroom.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Nothing else matters. 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 Matters.